I'm Demi Utley, the founder here at Utley Strategies, and today I'm going to be talking to you about an often overlooked and sometimes completely absent section from RFP responses, and that is the cover letter. So I love including cover letters in an RFP response because it provides a bit of a personal touch to your proposal while also allowing you to address any administrative components of the RFP, and also it gives a special place to sell your offering. So if you want to include a cover letter in your RFP response, but you're not sure exactly how to do that, then keep watching because that's exactly what we're going over today. So a RFP response cover letter is simply a cover letter that is included at the beginning of your proposal and explains why exactly you're bidding on this RFP and how your solution solves the specific problem that the customer is facing. The cover letter is often signed by an account manager or another person in the company who has a personal relationship with the customer. And the goal of the cover letter really is to add a bit more of a personal touch to your RFP response while providing a brief overview of any key highlights that you want them to know about your proposal. And you may be wondering, is this different than an executive summary? And the answer to that is yes. These are not the same section of your proposal. They are two very distinct sections, and they each have their own purpose and reason for including them. So the executive summary might follow a similar layout to the cover letter, but it provides more information on what you're offering, and it's a little bit less personal than your cover letter. Cover letters that are really good should read as if you're writing a more personal letter to a friend and someone you know, especially if you have an existing relationship with a customer, while of course being professional. Whereas executive summaries are more formal and focused on providing an overview of your proposal. A common question that I'm asked is, when exactly should I be including a cover letter if I'm responding to RFPs? And my answer to that is that you should always be including a cover letter for RFPs because they make your proposal a bit more human, and they remind the buyer that they're working with actual people, that there are actual people behind these documents who wrote this proposal. It's not just some company, it's not just some organization with, robots or something like that. Like, there are actual people who they're going to be working with. And your cover letter is the perfect place to make that personal note and that personal touch that can show them exactly who they're going to be working with. So I really like to include cover letters because it's just a great way to really make that personal connection on the first page of your proposal. The only time that I don't include a cover letter is if it's specifically stated in the RFP that you should not include one, or if it doesn't make sense with the layout or the format of the RFP, such as if there's page limit issues and things like that. But if you want to include one and you're worried about the page count, you can always ask during the Q&A if the cover letter will count. And most of the time they say it doesn't count towards the page limit. So you're able to include that as well anyway. So writing your cover letter is a bit different than writing other sections of your proposal. I typically write the cover letter normally it's the very last section that I write, but it occurs at the beginning of your proposal. And the reason for that is because I want to know everything that we are including throughout the proposal and any unique points or anything that we want to emphasize, basically. So I'll write the cover letter and also the executive summary at the very end. Things that you'll want to do is first you'll want to go through and actually address any challenges the customer is facing, their current situation and things like that. So you'll open your first paragraph, and normally it's the entire first paragraph will focus on the customer, their issues, their situation, and just kind of re-summarizing to show that you understand exactly what they're facing. If you don't have too much insight into this, if you don't have a relationship with them really, then you can go to the project overview section in the RFP or a similar section, and that's where they'll typically outline the project and its goals. Just make sure that you don't use the exact language from the RFP. You want to re-summarize it in your own words to show that you understand what they're dealing with. The next thing that you'll do is you'll go into a brief overview of how exactly you can help them to solve whatever it is that they're facing. So in the following, normally paragraph or two paragraphs, that's where you'll switch and you'll talk about either your current relationship, your unique offering, anything that you want them to know, and just really make this about how you're going to help them to achieve their goals and why they should work with you specifically. So you might introduce, different members of your team. You might talk about past projects you've worked on with them or past projects you've worked on with other companies who are similar to the organization that's released this RFP. The goal here is really to show what you've done and why you're a good choice, and just emphasize why you have the best qualifications to work with them. So it might be from your past experience, it might be from your past relationship with them, or it might be from some unique feature of your product. Whatever it is, make sure you include that in your cover letter. And then the last thing that you want to do is you want to end with a positive vision of working together. So the final paragraph is going to briefly summarize what you've highlighted above, and then it's going to also include some like action verbs to show them exactly how things will change when they work with you. So here you're going to end on a positive note. So let's say, for example, that you are going to help them win more projects. Then that last sentence is going to talk about, how your partnership will result in increased revenue or new clients or something like that. I also always like to include in that final paragraph contact information to talk further, such as a phone number or an email for whoever it is that they should be contacting if they have questions, or who they should notify if you're invited to, present or move on to the next stage in the RFP process. And then the last thing you want to make sure is always have your cover letter signed by either someone who's the highest ranking person on the account, or the person who has the strongest relationship with a customer. So the cover letter should read like it's written from a specific person, not that it's written from, a company or just like general information. Ideally, it'll be a little bit more personal than that. So because of that, you want to have an actual like handwritten signature at the bottom for whoever is signing the cover letter. Let's go over a few don'ts for your cover letter. So the first thing is, do not start your cover letter with "Thank you for this opportunity," or "We are pleased to present this proposal," or anything like that, because this is just generic content that they're most likely going to skip over. And if you open with that, a lot of times they'll skip through the entire cover letter, and then it's not going to have the effect that you want. So instead, do what we talked about before and open with their challenge or their situation to show that you understand exactly what they're dealing with. And then you'll just position your company as an expert who can help them. Another thing you should not do is just include a very simple proposal that says something to the effect of, "Please see the enclosed proposal in response to this RFP." So a lot of companies just send over some short paragraph to check off the box that they have a cover letter, and you're really missing out on an opportunity to actually connect with a buyer and show that you understand what they need and how you can work with them. So make sure that you're including the information in your proposal cover letter that can actually help sell for you and really adds to your proposal and enhances what it is that you're saying. Another thing you should not do is make your proposal cover letter too long. So in general, it should always be about a page, unless your proposal is over 100 pages or 200 pages, then you could go on 2 pages. But most of the time, you should be able to fit it all within 1 page. Also, don't include too much information because this will also make it too long. But if you go too detailed, then it's just not going to have that personal feel. And you want to make sure that they want to continue reading your proposal after reading your cover letter, not that they learned everything within your cover letter. So the goal here is to inspire them to keep reading and give them a little bit of a taste for what they're going to feel throughout the rest of your proposal. Also, should not be focusing on your company in the cover letter or really throughout your proposal. Your proposal should be about the customer and the buyer and their needs, not about your company and your company history and everything that you've done, unless it relates directly to this project and what it is that you're selling. So just make sure that you're giving a few highlights of what it is that you're doing and what you have done in the past, but don't go into too much detail because they want to know how you're going to help them, not just learn about your company in general. Okay, so that's all that I had for you today on how to write cover letters for your RFP response. If you want more proposal writing tips, then make sure you check out our free training on the 6 key strategies to write winning proposals. So I will link to that below. Make sure you go ahead and click that and see the other resources below. In the meantime, I'll be sharing more videos with tips and tricks to make your proposal writing a little bit better and more effective. So make sure that you go ahead and subscribe. I'll see you next time.